How many times have you signed to a record label
Hmm.
in your life?
A label? Let me see. I signed to Basis Loaded Records, which was a label. Before that, I was dealing with Divine Stevens, Akon, Lady Gaga, which was a label, and a management group. I signed to RCA, which was a label, and I signed with TMG, which was a label.
And was that the chronological order?
Yes, sir.
And are you still signed to any of these
No,
imprints at
sir.
this point?
No, sir.
RCA was a major label amongst all three?
Yes, sir.
Amongst all four, I'm sorry.
No, RCA was only in play with BLR. Me and BLR and RCA were in. Oh, and Empire. I had to deal with Empire. Can't forget Empire. Shout out Ghazi.
Where did Empire fit on the chronological order?
It was Divine Stevens, BLR, RCA. Who I just said?
TMG
Who?
and Empire.
Yep, TMG then Empire.
So Bases Loaded and RCA, that was a situation together?
No. I made it together. I was in an independent deal with BLR, and then I got signed by RCA. Well, RCA was interested, but BLR wouldn't sell me to RCA, so they became the furnishing company, as the production company.
Now,
And so just a rundown, the Divine Stevens situation. I had a song with Akon called Killers and Drug Dealers. He ended up later putting the Migos on it. It's out right now. I'm on there too, but he only kept my ad libs and they said all the words and kept my ad libs only. But anyway, I had the song Whip It. If anybody kept up with me, Whip It was my breakthrough song. It was like the first song that got me some recognition. I had Whip It recorded when I was with Divine Stevens. I was actively going to 4 to 5 clubs a night, getting this shit played, and I'm watching the reaction. I'm telling them, this it, Divine. This the one that they reacting to. I'm playing Killers and Drug Dealers and I'm playing Whip It. Because I got Akon on this. Of course I want the people to hear it, but they reacting to this other song. But Divine didn't want to hear that shit. It got one point, man, R. Kelly came in there and he finally sitting listening to my records. R. Kelly told me out his mouth. When he was after he heard my music, he stood next to me. He said, "I never had this feeling standing next to another man, no homo, other than Tupac and Michael Jackson." He told me that out his mouth, and I thought he didn't believe. I thought nobody wasn't gonna believe me. My best friend was right beside me. I tapped him. I said, "Did you hear him?" His name Baby D. Baby D said, "Tupac and Michael Jackson, bitch. Tupac and Michael Jackson." So it was kind of a relief to know somebody has heard this moment. You know what I'm saying? And R. Kelly kind of like chomped down on Divine, like what you doing with this kid? And ultimately, when Divine didn't want to move on putting out the song I wanted to put out, I was like, bro, I just want to get away from this situation. And at that point, I think he continued to tell me like, you give me 100,000, you want to get out this. And when I got with Divine, he gave me like $10,000. So I was like, man, you got me fucked up. So of course, that shit went left. And me and Akon kept our relationship. Akon kept me under his wing because he just respected my talent. After that, I got with Bases Loaded. With Big D, them they signed me for 30,000. They gave me 15,000 up front, and 15,000 upon completion of a project or in renegotiation. And I don't know, about 6 to 8 months in, I got a deal offer from RCA. While I was with them, I went on tour with Kevin Gates. I Don't Get Tired 2 tour. And when I was on tour, I was in Atlanta, and the dude flew to Atlanta by the name of Mark Pitts. Mark Pitts managed Biggie Smalls back in the day. He managed Usher, Miguel, Chris Brown, a lot of people. And he came and they were basically like, me and Jay-Z was sitting watching some videos on the internet, and there was the other dude, YFN Lucci, and then your video came on. They was like, oh, this the guy. And he came to get me. He said, I want to manage you. And I said, well, we got to do a grace period or something because I already had a manager, which was Cricket. And he was like, man, I can get you a deal. And I went on tour with Kevin Gates off the Humbug. He was in the mall and he was like, Lucci, like I fuck with you. He started rapping my song and he was playing it out his phone. He was like, I'm finna go on. He said, how much you gonna charge me to teach me how to record myself? I said, ain't you finna go on tour? Take me on your tour. And he talked to Drake and they talked to the people and they put me right on the tour. And in the midst of that tour, I had 3 free days. I was in Chicago and I said, I'd never been to New York. Take me to New York. This was after my meeting with Mark Pitts. So I called Mark Pitts and said, I'm finna be in New York. And they set up the meetings. I went to like 4 labels. Every single label offered me a deal. Every single label I visited. Atlantic, Epic, RCA. I flew over to Interscope. After that, I went to, all of them offered me a deal. Every time I left a meeting, Bass Loaded was calling me like, man, good job, they offered a deal. Long story short, I ended up signing with RCA because Mark Pitts worked at RCA. The president of Black Music, and he was trying to be my manager. Like, it's gotta make sense. It's a match made in heaven. But it wasn't. So that went downhill. Money, you know, people, you know, when money comes to the situation, a lot of stuff changed. That happened. I was stuck into that situation. I was stuck. After I talked to RCA, and RCA basically told me, Lucci, we like you. We think you're very talented, but this situation is kind of like at a standstill. What you want to do? I said, man, I just need to get away from this situation. How can we do it? They said, we can release you and you won't owe us no money or they won't owe us no money. I signed a RCA for $1.5 million. I got $650,000 up front, which I didn't receive none of that shit. You feel me? So I got $15,000 out of that because when I signed the Bases Loaded, they signed me for $30,000. They were only obligated to give me 15 more thousand. At that point, of course, what you think? Once I'm realizing all my money is gone, all my money is getting taken by somebody else. My baby mama was 6 months pregnant with my first child. I was through. I was living. I was like, fuck them, fuck this, fuck everything. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't have no money to go to war with these niggas. They had too much money, too much power, too much respect. So I had to get myself up. And not to go to war, but to get in a better situation for myself. And it took me a couple years after I got away from them. They still wanted me to pay them $150,000 because they did invest their money into it, but they definitely got it off the other money that they didn't have to pay back. But you know, it was a stipulation of the contract, so it took me a couple years, and then I ran into my boy TMG Fresh, and we made a business deal together, and I bought out the deal with them, with Bases Loaded. As I'm into the deal with TMG Fresh, he starts becoming a rapper himself. Life's happening, you know, everybody living their life. That's still my boy. That's my dog. He rap too now, you know, he doing his shit, but you know, it's just life. And we continued on. We split our ways in good terms. I did a distribution deal with Ghazi, and I just did a one project distribution deal. And I'm about to release my new project. I'm gonna try this independent all the way thing. Little nigga, big name, January the 24th. Rest in peace, Baby J. Long live Baby J. I love you, baby, for life.
Now, after all your experiences with all these different record labels, okay, here's my question. There's some people that are for record labels, there's some people that are against them. What should every artist watching this interview know about a record label that's never signed to any yet?
Know your worth. Don't sell yourself short. Know your value. And don't be too eager to be somebody, because you're already somebody. Understand your worth. Know your value. And don't let the circumstances of life make you sign some shit that's gonna change your life. I know life is hard. You might got rent, you might got bills, you might got kids. And a lot of times these machines and these, even some independent labels, they take advantage of your vulnerability. Sometimes they know you need something. They see a diamond in the rough, but when you need something, they have leverage. And not saying that it's always bad, because sometimes you need that help. And you can help them, you know, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. But like I said, for every light, it's a dark. So you got to make sure that you decipher what's for you and what's not. And know your worth, man. Like, know what you worth. Don't let these people sell you short. Because, trust me, they going to get their money out this shit anyway. And I'm not down talking no label shit. I can't wait. At this point, I'm ready to get another deal. You hear me? But I know what I'm looking for at this point. I can't be sold short because I know my worth.
And for time reference, it's November 2021 now.